We are at item Q1, call back to order, executive session motions. Do we have any motions coming out of closed session?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure.
Or need a discussion?
Well, I mean, I feel like we were considering a motion in there, and then, but
Can I just throw one out and see how it goes? Okay, I move to, I guess, hire an attorney to look at the current documents of concern as discussed in closed session to evaluate whether a further investigation is warranted.
I'll second that.
I was just writing this down. Let me repeat it. I move to hire an attorney to look at current documents of concerns as discussed in closed session to evaluate if further investigations is warranted. Is that correct? Trustee Bone?
Yeah.
I would like to amend that motion. I can't even talk right now. I would like to add along with that an and statement. And so we're going to hire an attorney to do that and investigate concerns of violation of TOMA and other concerns regarding trustees through the hiring process.
I'm fine with doing I welcome getting opinion on whether we violated the Texas Open Meetings Act on September 14th, which I think is what this is. Can we clarify that? That's what you're looking at, right?
I've had multiple concerns, so I would like them all investigated. I mean, there's probably, I don't know, 15, maybe 15, 20 instances. And I would like the many concerns that came out of the hiring process also investigated.
A second. I also have some comments whenever you call on me.
Trustee Harrison?
So we had all that time and closed to discuss. So since it's not clear, would it be like what those 15 concerns are? I don't feel right voting on that. Might we table this for January, but go ahead and put it on the agenda? Because I'd like to know what those things are, you know?
Sure, I think Amy's aware of most of them, but yeah, I don't know if the full board is.
I'd like to be briefed on, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love the opportunity to. So I think this would be a great thing to table because it's late and I think this is a big decision.
Well, I'd like to reiterate if we're taking off the amendment, but we have talked about this, and I think the rest of us may be ready to vote on my original motion.
So we can vote on the amended motion and then we can come back to the original. Trustee Weston, did you have your light on? Yes, go ahead.
So what is the objective and what documents are we talking about? Are we talking about Trustee Weston's emails that were provided to the board on November 29th via email from Mr. Woolston? Or are we talking about additional documents? And then I have more comments once I get the answer, once I get the clarity on what documents you're talking about and what the objective is.
Well, I believe he said that there were additional documents and other public information requests that have surfaced. So
I don't know who those are about.
we don't know who, I mean, we don't know anything about them other than he just said that.
And in addition to the fact, there were other trustees who had documents of concern that surfaced. And so we need to know whether we need an independent opinion, because right now we just have our staff attorney. We need an independent opinion as to whether those are problematic and whether we should do a further investigation, because there's debate as to whether they are problematic. And I think clarity on that issue would if they come back and we get an independent opinion and they say, hey, these really aren't a problem. So, I'm looking at what's been provided to me. I don't see any problems here. Then I feel like for me personally, then that basically says, okay, likely no, there may not need to have a further investigation. But until we have disagreement as to whether these are a problem. Yes.
Do I get an answer to my question? Is Mr. Woolston going to be the arbiter of deciding what additional documents? It seems to me that if we're going to be voting on launching an investigation, which is going to take time, energy, resources, money from the students of our school district, and if we're going to be voting to pursue this endeavor, this costly taxpayer-funded investigation, we should know it seems to me we should know exactly what documents, what we're talking about, and it seems to me that the 7 of us should all have copies of the documents that we're talking about. We're talking about phantom documents at this point. We don't know if it's 2, we don't know if it's 200, we don't know if it's 2,000. So I think it's a folly endeavor to authorize the launching of an investigation for documents we have not even been provided. And I also think it's folly to launch an investigation. Apparently there's great interest in Trustee Weston's emails from this board. And I think that observers can draw their own conclusions about that. But I'll tell you what we're not launching investigations on. We're not launching an investigation on the actions of some of trustees who are on this board today, whose actions resulted in a $300,000 settlement. Where's the investigation on them? Where's the investigation on the countless open records requests made by many members of the public that have not been fulfilled by this school district as required by the Public Information Act? Where's the investigation on why over 3,000 students have fled Round Rock ISD in the last 2 years? That has an enormous impact to our budget. Where's the investigation?
Trustee Weston, I would encourage you to put these concerns in a email and we can discuss it. We're not posted for any of this conversation. We're only posted for conversations regarding emails,
Investigations, ma'am. May I finish?
regarding attorney-client privilege communication and possible investigation to review potential unauthorized disclosures. We're not posted to talk
Right.
about
Well, I think
anything
what's
else.
relevant here is all of the things that we're not investigating that we already know have negatively impacted the school district financially. We already know it, and we're not doing anything to try to understand how we got there. And
And
yes.
like I said, I encourage you to put that in an email and that we as a board can discuss that along with the 15 or so items that Trustee Bone is talking about. I think
Okay,
that
well, I'm concerned that this whole investigation is set up with, it's beginning with the end in mind. And as far back as September, from closed session, Dr. Bone and I would leave those closed session and feel like you guys are about to launch an investigation. And we asked former President Weir about it, and she assured us, oh no, there's no investigations planned. There's no investigations being discussed. It's all in via email. So it wasn't until the night of November 18th at 3 o'clock in the morning that I was ever, for the first time, presented with anything that was specifically problematic, and yet the language that you all have been using for months is that you've been compiling and you have all this evidence and you had it. And when we asked, are you headed towards an investigation? We were told repeatedly, no, absolutely not. We are not headed towards an investigation. So this is...
I believe actually what you asked me was, is there an investigation? The answer was no. Until this body votes, there's none. Right? And I don't know that you can say people have made accusations. There is no investigation. There still is no investigation. There were emails that were discovered that were presented to the board for the very first time last month. But this board has not made any decisions. There is no investigation. And I actually can't even remember what the motion was right now. But really it is to a review of the problematic documents to determine if more information is needed. It's like a first pass. And I would say, to Mary's point, if you want to give your list of items to that attorney and have that be part of a first pass to decide if we need more information, then we'll do, I mean, we could do both of them at the same time. It's not the investigation. It is hiring somebody who is not our staff, because you don't trust our staff, you don't trust our board counsel. It's hiring somebody to come in from the outside and look at these documents that staff has identified as possibly an issue. If that person says, no, it's not an issue, we're done. There's no investigation. If the person says there's other issues, y'all should look into these, we look into those. I mean, it is not, there.
Is this going to be our common practice, though? I mean, we're setting a precedence. I think that's why I've been so, I know you guys see Mary's talking a lot tonight, but because this is going to set a precedence. Are we going to do this every time we find a little issue? Like, somebody, like,
Well, maybe. I mean, we just said it for the auditor, honestly. I mean, if she comes to us and she brings us an issue that she thinks is a problem, this board has to do something about it. I mean,
Well, we had another issue that we talked about in closed session, though, tonight, that's an issue. It truly is an issue, and you guys blew it off. So, I mean, Trustee Weston, I'm actually, I don't know if you guys can't see it, but I'm not going to discuss what that was in closed session, but that is an issue. There was information that was confidential that was released on Facebook, and you guys had no interest in investigating it, but oh, wow, let's like hop on this Weston thing.
Okay, we're not posted for that discussion.
But we are,
No, we're
absolutely,
not
because
posted
that's
for that
problematic.
discussion.
not an open, and he,
I know, no. I mean, I think what I said was,
and actually that's, to say that we just ignored it is not true. It's not true.
But there's no
Trustee
investigation.
Harrison, Trustee
then we should
Harrison has her
investigate it.
light on. I'm going to recognize Trustee Harrison now, please.
Thank you. It's 2:20 in the morning, so I think we should either vote on the motion that we have on the table, or if there's more things that we want to bring, we bring them in January and have a fuller, more robust discussion about if we're going to have to hire an outside attorney to look into things that we've been doing, what that full scope is. So I feel like those are kind of two options here.
Are you calling the question?
I mean, yes, I'm calling the question, I guess.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. We have an amended motion in the second. I'm going to reread the
wait,
amended
she needs a
motion.
second to call the question.
Do what?
I'm going to second her call the question,
sorry.
which means discussion ends.
Yep.
So you just have to read whatever the last,
Yep, I'm going to read the amended motion. Move to hire an attorney to look at current documents of concern as discussed in closed session to evaluate if further investigation is warranted and investigate violations of TOMA and other concerns during the hiring process. That's our motion in a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? All, okay, motion fails 1 to 4. So we go back to our original motion.
you forgot to count yourself.
Say it again. 1 to 5, sorry. Yep. Go back to our original motion. Move to hire an attorney to look at current documents of concern as disclosed, as discussed in closed session to evaluate if further investigation is warranted. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Motion passes 4-2. It is, we are not acting on item R. We are due item S, adjournment. If there are no objections, it is 2:25 and we are adjourned.